Have you ever awakened with your chest tight, even before you fully opened your eyes? That feeling of weight, as if a dark cloud settled over you during the night. And now, upon waking, it remains there, whispering worries, feeding fears you didn't even know you were carrying. I know how that feels. I know what it's like to start the day fighting against your own racing heart. I know what it's like to feel anxiety as a constant presence, an unwanted companion that insists on taking up space inside you. But today, my dear, something different is happening. You're here because a part of you, that wiser and deeper part, knows there's another way. A softer, more loving way to greet the dawn. And that way begins within your own heart. Breathe with me now, deeply. Feel the air entering, filling your lungs, expanding your chest. And as you exhale, allow a little of that tension to dissolve, like mist in the first ray of sunlight. Your heart doesn't need to carry so much weight. It never did. There's a simple truth, yet profoundly transformative, that I'd like to share with you this morning. The fear and anxiety you feel are not the reality of your day. They're only the thoughts you're creating about it. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. Your thoughts, my love, are like seeds. Each one you plant in the fertile soil of your mind creates roots, grows, expands, and eventually manifests in your life experience. If you begin the day planting seeds of worry, of what if something goes wrong, of I won't be able to handle it, then your inner garden fills with those thorny flowers. But, and here's the beauty of this discovery, you can, at any moment, choose to plant something different. You can choose to plant peace. You can choose to plant confidence. You can choose to plant the certainty that you are safe, that you are capable, that this day holds beautiful possibilities. And when you do this, when you consciously elevate the vibration of your morning thoughts, something extraordinary happens. Your heart begins to melt those layers of ice that anxiety built around it. It begins to warm, to open, to beat with a different energy. I invite you now to repeat with me, aloud or in the silence of your heart, I am safe in this present moment. I am capable of feeling peace, even in the face of the unknown. My heart opens to lightness and trust. Feel these words. Don't just speak them. Allow them to enter you like cool water on a hot day. They are truths waiting to be recognized. Perhaps you're thinking, but how can I feel peace when there's so much to resolve? When there are so many responsibilities, so many uncertainties? And I understand that question, my dear. I understand because life sometimes seems like a steep mountain we must climb alone. But here's something I've learned and that I want to offer you with all the tenderness of my heart. You don't need to resolve everything before allowing yourself to feel peace. Peace isn't the prize that comes after everything is organized. It's the fertile ground where solutions grow. When you begin the day in anxiety, your mind becomes foggy. Your decisions become confused. You act from fear, and fear, my love, was never a good counselor. It makes you run in circles. It makes you see dangers where there are only possibilities. It makes you forget your own strength. But when you lift your heart first, when you allow peace to enter before anything else, you create inner space. And in that space, answers appear. Clarity emerges. Creativity blossoms. You become an open channel for the wisdom that already exists within you. So how do we do this? How do we lift the heart when it seems to be sinking? We begin simply. We begin where we are. Upon waking, even before reaching for your phone, before thinking about your to-do list, place one hand over your chest. Feel the warmth of your palm. Feel the beating of your heart. That tireless muscle that never stopped working for you, that beat through every storm, that kept you alive even on the days when you weren't sure you wanted to continue. And whisper to it, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for keeping me alive. This small practice, this intimate connection with yourself, already begins to change the energy of your day. You're telling your nervous system, it's okay. We're in this together. I take care of you. Anxiety, you see, is not your enemy. It's just a part of you that's trying to protect you. For years, perhaps your entire life, it believed it needed to keep you alert, vigilant, prepared for the worst. It thought it was helping you. And perhaps, in some moments, it really did help. But now, it's time to teach that part of you a new way to protect you, a way that doesn't exhaust you, a way that doesn't rob you of the joy of each dawn. And you do this not by fighting against it, not by pushing it away, but by welcoming it with compassion. When you feel that familiar tightness in your chest, that buzz of worries in your mind, pause, breathe, and gently ask, "What are you trying to protect me from?" Listen, with true curiosity and love, and then, like a loving mother speaking to a frightened child, say, "I know you're worried, I know you're afraid, but look at me, I'm here, I'm present." And together, we're going to move through this day, step by step, breath by breath. This is lifting the heart, my dear. It's bringing light where there was darkness. It's bringing embrace where there was struggle. And here's something truly powerful. When you change the energy within you, the world around you begins to respond differently. This isn't magic. It's universal law. It's the law of vibration, of resonance, of energy that always seeks its equal. When you're vibrating in anxiety, you attract more situations that confirm your fears. Not because the universe is against you, but because your attention is tuned to that frequency. You see dangers because you're looking for them. But when you consciously elevate your vibration, when you choose to begin the day in gratitude, in trust, in openness to good, you begin to notice different things. An unexpected synchronicity, a conversation that brings exactly what you needed to hear, an opportunity that appears in a surprising way. You're not creating these things from nothing. You're becoming able to see them. You're opening your eyes to the blessings that were always there, waiting for you to notice them. Imagine your heart as a radio station. When it's tuned to the frequency of fear, you pick up frightening programs. But when you turn the dial, when you intentionally seek the frequency of peace, of love, of trust, completely different programs begin to play. And your entire life experience changes. This is power, my love. True power. Not the power to control every external circumstance, but the power to choose how you meet each circumstance. And that power is available to you every morning, every breath, every moment. Perhaps you're carrying old stories about yourself. Stories that say, "I've always been anxious," or "I can never calm down," or "There's no point, this is just who I am." And I understand how those stories can seem true. After all, you've lived them so many times. But can I tell you a secret? Those stories aren't you. They're just thoughts you've repeated so many times that they created deep grooves in your mind, like running water that sculpts rock. And just as they were created through repetition, they can be transformed through the repetition of new thoughts. You are not your anxiety. You are not your fears. You are the consciousness that observes those feelings. You are the loving presence behind all of this. And from that position, you have choice. Each morning is a blank page. You don't need to write the same story you wrote yesterday. You can gently begin to write something new. Today, I choose peace. Today, I trust in the flow of life. Today, I allow my heart to rise above worries. And when the old stories come to visit you, and they will, because they're accustomed to having your attention, you can thank them for the service they provided and gently let them go, like clouds passing through the sky. You don't need to hold on to every cloud. You can simply watch them moving, transforming, dissolving. Breathe with me now, deeply. And as you exhale, visualize all the old tension leaving your body. Visualize invisible chains breaking, doors that were closed opening, golden light entering through the spaces that were once occupied by fear. I release old stories that no longer serve me. I am open to a new way of relating to life. My heart is free to rise. You are not alone on this journey, my dear. There's a greater force holding you, a loving intelligence that orchestrates the blooming of flowers, the movement of tides, the perfection of each sunset. And that same force lives within you. Some call it God, others call it universe, source, divine energy, inner light. The name doesn't matter. What matters is that you allow yourself to feel that connection, to feel that you're not a small, lonely island fighting against threatening waves, but part of an immense ocean, sustained by waters that love you unconditionally. Close your eyes for a moment. Visualize a soft, golden light above you. It descends like gentle rain, entering through the top of your head, flowing through your body. This light knows where you hold your tensions. It finds every knot, every contraction, every place where you stored fear, and gently, lovingly, it dissolves those tensions. Feel that light reaching your heart. Watch as it begins to glow, to pulse with a warm and comforting color. Your heart is remembering its true nature. Love. Not romantic love, not dependent love, but essential love, the very substance you're made of. You are loved. You always have been. You always will be. Not for some external achievement, but simply for existing, simply for being this unique expression of life that is you. And when you allow yourself to feel this, when you open your heart to receive this love that was always available, something shifts. Anxiety no longer finds as much space to cling to. Fear becomes smaller in the face of this loving presence. Gratitude, my love, is the secret key that opens doors to miracles. And I'm not talking about grand and dramatic miracles. I'm talking about the subtle miracles that happen when you shift your perspective, when you begin to notice what's going right, instead of focusing only on what's missing or what might go wrong. When you wake with anxiety, your mind naturally seeks problems. It's as if you put on dark glasses that only allow you to see threats. But gratitude acts like a different pair of glasses. Glasses that allow you to see the blessings hidden within the ordinary. You have air to breathe, a heart that beats, a body that, even with its imperfections, carries you through life. A new day unfolding before you, full of possibilities not yet written. When you pause to feel gratitude for these simple things, your nervous system receives a powerful message. There is abundance here. There are good things here. I am well. And that message begins to rewrite the anxiety patterns that were running on loop. Try this. Upon waking, before allowing worries to take over, find 3 things you're grateful for. They can be small: the softness of your pillow, the sound of birds, the fact that you woke up. Feel these things. Don't just think about them. Allow gratitude to be a sensation that warms your chest. And notice what happens. Notice how it's more difficult for anxiety to settle in when you're vibrating in gratitude. Notice how your day begins to flow differently. Gratitude isn't denying challenges. It's choosing to also see the blessings. And in that choice, you lift your heart. Perhaps you're wondering, but what about when difficult things really happen? When there are legitimate reasons to worry? And I honor that question because life isn't always smooth. There are real storms. There are genuine challenges. But here's the difference. You can face those storms from 2 places. You can face them from panic, from a contracted heart, from a chaotic mind. Or you can face them from a calm center, from a lifted heart, from a clear mind. And which do you think serves you better? Which allows you to make wiser decisions, find more creative solutions, maintain your health while navigating difficulties. Lifting your heart isn't pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's cultivating an inner peace that remains stable even when the outer world is turbulent. It's like the deep part of the ocean that remains calm, even when the waves on the surface are tumultuous. You access that depth when you breathe consciously, when you place your hand on your heart, when you remind yourself, I've been through difficult things before. I have an inner strength greater than I imagined, and I don't need to solve everything right now. I only need to take the next step. This is the power of a lifted heart. It's not naivety. It's mature wisdom. It's trust that was forged through the experience that, somehow, you always found a way. And you will find one again. If you have a journal nearby, I invite you to explore these questions with gentleness and curiosity. What story have I been telling about my mornings? Is it a story of struggle or of possibility? If I could choose how I want to feel upon waking, what would I choose? What small practice could I add to my morning routine to cultivate that feeling? There are no right or wrong answers. This is simply an invitation to know yourself more deeply, to observe, without judgment, the patterns you've been living, and from that loving observation, to consciously choose something new. Perhaps you'll discover you need to wake just 5 minutes earlier to have a moment of silence with yourself. Perhaps you'll discover that playing soft music instead of alarming news completely changes your energy. Perhaps you'll discover that writing 3 things you're grateful for transforms your day in surprising ways. The practices don't need to be complicated. In fact, the simplest ones are often the most powerful. What matters is the intention behind them. The intention to honor your well-being, to care for your energy, to lift your heart. And if you're thinking, it's too late for me to change, please hear this with all your heart. It's never too late to begin treating yourself with love. It's never too late to choose peace instead of inner war. It's never too late to lift your heart. It doesn't matter how many mornings you've awakened in anxiety. It doesn't matter how many years you've carried this weight. Each moment is an opportunity to begin again. Each breath is a chance to choose differently. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to manage meditating for hours or never feeling anxiety again. You only need to be willing to try, one day at a time, one morning at a time, one moment at a time. There will be days when you forget. Days when you'll wake in panic and all the tools will seem to have disappeared. And that's okay. You're human. You're a being in the process of learning and growing. On those days, be gentle with yourself. Don't add guilt to anxiety. Simply breathe, place your hand on your heart, and begin again. Each time you return, each time you choose peace again, you're strengthening new neural pathways. You're teaching your brain and your heart a new way to respond to life. And over time, what once seemed impossible begins to become natural. I allow myself to feel peace, even when I don't understand everything. My heart knows how to rise, and I trust that inner wisdom. Each morning is an opportunity to begin again, and I receive that gift with gratitude. Repeat these affirmations. Whisper them upon waking. Write them where you can see them. Let them be seeds you consistently plant in the garden of your mind. And watch, with loving patience, as they begin to bloom. You know, my dear, there's tremendous beauty in realizing that you don't need to conquer the world to feel valuable. You don't need to prove anything to deserve peace. Your value is inherent. Your worthiness to feel good is a birthright, not something you need to earn. And when you begin to internalize this truth, when you allow it to penetrate the deepest layers of your being, something extraordinary happens. You stop living in constant emergency mode. You stop treating each day as a battle to be won, and you begin to treat it as an experience to be lived, savored, honored. Your heart, that wise and resilient organ, knows this truth. It never wanted to carry so much weight. It never wanted to begin each day in survival mode. It wants to rise. It wants to expand. It wants to pulse with joy, with lightness, with the certainty that life, despite its complexities, is essentially good. And you can give it that gift. You can, through your conscious choices, create the inner environment where it can finally rest, finally trust, finally open to the fullness that is its natural state. As I close this message, I offer you this blessing. May you awaken each morning, remembering your inner light. May you allow yourself to feel the peace that already exists within you, waiting only to be recognized. May you treat your heart with the tenderness it always deserved. May you trust in the flow of life, even when you cannot see the complete path ahead. May you know, in the deepest place of your soul, that you are loved, you are enough, you are exactly where you need to be. Your heart is rising. You may not feel it immediately. It may not seem dramatic or obvious, but trust the process. Trust the small choices you're making. Trust the wisdom that lives within you. The universe is conspiring in your favor. Life is on your side. And each morning you choose to lift your heart, you're saying yes to this truth. Breathe deeply. Smile gently, even if it's a small smile. And know that you are not alone. You never were. And you're doing beautiful work, even in the moments when it seems difficult. Keep choosing peace. Keep lifting your heart. Keep honoring the precious being that you are. A new day is dawning, and with it, new possibilities, new opportunities to treat yourself with love, new chances to experience life from a lifted heart. This is your moment. This is your dawn, and you are ready.